I trust you. I fly back out tomorrow. I flew down Thursday, so just the weekend, really. Yeah. Coming straight from, with pastoral location, and then flying over to Texas, Wednesday to see some friends. Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully at least it's less people there, but we'll see. He doesn't do it. It's going to be great. Hopefully it's not breaking 100. It's not going to be overnight as well there. At the very least over 80 is right there. But I'm close to that. So I'm not too bothered by it.
Let you know I've got September off. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Venice, also known as UCOV. My name is Janet Knudsen, and I'll be your worship associate today. Today we are welcoming back William Esty as our guest minister. Will comes to us having just finished their clinical pastoral education at Meadville-Lombard Theological School in Chicago, and is looking forward to beginning a second year of seminar and an internship. Will has a passionate love for music, theater, and games, and carries a deep reverence for the transcendental power of art and spirituality. And if that's not enough reasons to love Will, his mom is our own dear Nancy Bratt. Will is currently based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it says here that he greatly appreciates the opportunity to escape the Midwestern chill, but I'm not sure I'm buying that. Please feel free to see Will after the service for conversation and questions. At UCOV, we try to center love and welcome, and to journey together in ways that affirm and support one another. You are welcome here no matter who you are, if you're willing to join in this community of support and caring. We're pleased that you have chosen to worship with us. Is anybody here for the first time and might like to stand and introduce themselves and tell us your name and where you're from? Jean would be delighted to bring you a microphone. But no pressure. Anybody that's only been here a couple times and wants to raise their hand and say hello?
Hi, I'm Julie, and this is my son Dylan, and this is my second time here.
Very nice. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Just have a couple of announcements today. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Joyce, and I was here last week, and this is my second time.
Welcome back. Joyce, Julie, and Dylan. Anybody else? Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't see who it is. Excuse me. Hi, my name is Lois Davis, and this is my second visit with my daughter, Jocelyn.
Marla.
We're from Ohio.
Thank you. Great to have you back.
I have an announcement only to say thank you to Patricia Hahn for our beautiful flower arrangement this morning.
Lovely. Just have a couple of announcements. The Arts and Crafts group will meet at 1 o'clock this Friday in Waters Hall, and the Men's Fellowship group will meet on Saturday at 10 o'clock in Waters Hall. And as always, there are lots of sign-up sheets on the lanai if you feel like you want to volunteer for anything or get involved with anything. Does anyone else have any announcements this morning? We are now entering into a sacred space, so please silence all your electronic devices. Our chalice lighting words are from Rumi, and these are words that we are all very familiar with. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come. Lisa will now play the prelude.
Good morning. I'm Will Esty. I use he, they pronouns, and I am so grateful to join you again for worship today. Just as a heads up, I expect that some of what we discuss today may be challenging, and I want you to think of it like that, a challenging discussion. And I hope at the end of the day, we will all have a few more questions on our minds. Our faith teaches us of the inherent worth and dignity of each person, which calls us to treat them with justice, equity, and compassion. It values acceptance and spiritual growth through the use of a free and independent search for truth and meaning. It upholds the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process with the goal of a beloved world community with peace, justice, and liberty for all. And it honors the interdependent web of all existence. Centered in love, we pursue justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity for all the people of the world. UUCOV is a welcoming, caring community open to anyone who respectfully enters. We encourage spiritual growth, seek meaning, and pursue justice together. Please join me now in reading the words of our covenant, the promise of how we will be with one another. It is found on the back of your order of service. In a climate of joy, goodwill, and trust, this congregation covenants to treat one another with kindness and respect, to listen with openness and acceptance, to support and protect the environment of which we are all a part, to solve problems responsibly as we grow and change, to encourage learning and nurture the growth of diverse human spirits, and to dedicate time, talent, and resources in an effort to make difference in local and world communities. In the spirit of our free religious heritage, we promise this to one another. Come, let us worship here together. We turn now from words to song. Please join me now in singing our gathering hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Again, that is number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We will sing it twice through. A man who needs legal help goes to a lawyer's office. After being escorted inside, he sits across the desk from the lawyer. The man needs legal help, but he wants to make sure he can afford it first. Can you tell me how much you charge? He asks. Of course, the lawyer replies. I charge $800 to answer 3 questions. Don't you think that's an awful lot of money to answer 3 questions? Yes, it is, asks the lawyer. What's your 3rd question? Before I answer any more of your questions, this morning's offertory will now be graciously given and gratefully received. See As a community of human hands and human hearts, we come here to bear witness and minister to one another as we struggle with life's sorrows and celebrate life's joys. Before or during the service, you are welcome to light candles on the candle table. During joys and concerns, we will light them for you. At this time of sharing, you can raise a hand and someone will bring you a microphone. Please share only those stories that are yours to tell. I would like to start by lighting a candle myself in joy of being able to join you all today.
Mostly Danbury. I have some joys and a sorrow. This weekend, my young older son's family was all in New York together, and they were celebrating the graduation of my grandson Matthew from Columbia University in the Graduate School of Communications. And it was a short, sweet service, and I could see it Rachel. His younger brother was also with him because his younger brother is going to enter the doctoral program at MIT and is going to be moving up to Boston soon. So I got to see them all and saw many pictures, which was a joy. The sorrow is, at the same hour that I was virtually watching my grandson graduate, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, one of my brothers passed away. It was not unexpected. Paul John had lose dementia with Parkinson's disease, and he had had a good life, and he had done so many things for many people, and we treasured his life. He was an artist, liberal, a person who cared for other people all his life, and he had people with him before he passed, but at that time he was just not there because no one knew who he was, but the nurses were watching him. So he died at 10 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, at the same time I was watching my grandson virtually graduate.
Good morning, Mo Morrison here. My celebration this morning has a sorrow embedded, as is often the case, but I'd like to start by saying how pleased I am that we're hearing words from Rumi this morning. The 13th century Sufi mystic said so many incredible things. One in particular I found relevant for myself this past month, and that is, quote, "Travel brings power and love back into your life." I'm just recently back from my little epic road trip up to Philly. I drove 3,000 miles by myself, and I'm someone who doesn't even like to drive. But it was wonderful. I took my bike. I was able to ride every day in Valley Forge Park, which was one of our happy places when we lived up there. And the primary purpose of the visit was a 5-year anniversary memorial celebration of life, a musical celebration of life for my late husband, Michael. It was just beautiful, emotionally evocative, and I found myself feeling such gratitude for all of these wonderful people who welcomed me back with so much love. And then it was time to go home, and I had to dodge Hurricane Debbie because I was driving down the East Coast as the hurricane was going up the East Coast. So, unintentionally and necessarily, I got to see the beautiful state of Tennessee. And I'm so happy to be back.
Thank you so much, Mo.
We light one more candle for those joys and sorrows which we carry in our hearts, but which have not been voiced here today. May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern. May the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May we never look away when we are needed. May those who are grieving be comforted. May those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed. May those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant. Peace, and may it be so. Changing things up a little, instead of our first reading today, I wanted to tell you all a little story. Have any of you heard of Janie Tinklenberg? No? Okay. A brief history then. In 1989, Janie was a youth minister for a Reformed Christian church in Holland, Michigan. As part of her lessons, Janie and her group read In His Steps, a book compiled from a series of articles written by the Reverend Charles M. Sheldon. Janie also noticed that her youth group had a habit of making friendship bracelets for each other, and, wanting to incorporate their interests in her work, had them make bracelets with an abbreviation of a phrase used throughout the book, WWJD. What would Jesus do? The rest, as they say, is history. What would Jesus do? It's become a well-worn cliche, and when Janie Tinklenberg urged her youth group to think of Jesus in times of turmoil, I don't believe she expected it to catch on, to become such a shibboleth, a rallying cry, of a phrase meant to identify oneself as a part of the in-group, or how it would be warped by mainstream media into a bland catch cry of a kind of Christianity that sought to distance itself from any real works. I believe she meant it earnestly, that Jesus was a role model worth emulating, that somewhere between the mortal and the divine, his life and works could be an inspiration to people struggling to rise above a weary world that looked bleaker by the day. I think that, to Janie, Jesus was an icon, something that had come to embody far more than just his own story, but the story of those who carried his grace. Asking, what would Jesus do, asks, what would St. Camillus do? What would Florence Nightingale do? What would Thurgood Marshall do? Invoking Jesus invokes every person who acted in his name for peace, justice, and the betterment of those around them. I think that this is what Janie wanted her children to think when they looked at those little bands on their wrists. Please join me now in a minute of silent thought, meditation, and prayer.
Our reading is an excerpt from One-Handed Basket Weaving by Rumi. I've said before that every craftsman searches for what's not there to practice his craft. A builder looks for the rotten hole where the roof caved in. A water carrier picks the empty pot. A carpenter stops at the house with no door. Workers rush towards some hint of emptiness, which they then start to fill. Their hope, though, is for emptiness, so don't think you must avoid it. It contains what you need. Dear soul, if you were not friends with the vast nothing inside, why would you always be casting your net into it and waiting so patiently? This invisible ocean has given you such abundance, but still, you call it death, that which provides you sustenance and work. God has allowed some magical reversal to occur so that you see the scorpion pit as an object of desire and all the beautiful expanse around it as dangerous and swarming with snakes. This is how strange your fear of death and emptiness is, and how perverse the attachment to what you want. Know that your body nurtures the spirit, helps it grow, and gives it wrong advice. The body becomes eventually like a vest of chainmail in peaceful years, too hot in summer and too cold in winter. But the body's desires, in another way, are like an unpredictable associate whom you must be patient with. And that companion is helpful because patience expands your capacity to love and feel peace. The patience of a rose close to a thorn keeps it fragrant. It's patience that gives milk to the male camel still nursing in its 3rd year, and patience is what the prophets show to us. The beauty of careful sewing on a shirt is the patience it contains. Friendship and loyalty have patience as the strength of their connection. Feeling lonely and ignoble indicates that you haven't been patient. Be with those who mix with God as honey blends with milk, and say, anything that comes and goes, rises and sets, is not what I love. Else you'll be like a caravan fire left to flare itself out alone beside the road. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our centering hymn, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," hymn number 16, and we will sing it through twice.
This summer, I had the privilege of completing a unit of clinical pastoral education at the St. Camillus Life Plan community in the Milwaukee area of Wisconsin. Clinical Pastoral Education, or CPE, is a course focused on educating religious professionals on the practice of chaplaincy. It is a time of deep spiritual and personal growth and is an integral part of many seminaries' curriculums. I came to St. Camillus specifically because I wanted that growing to take place in a community. I wanted the opportunity to build relationships with the residents, where in a hospital I may only see someone for a day or two before they were discharged. I felt that this experience would be more relevant to my ministerial career, especially considering the average age of a UU congregation. What I did not expect, however, was how faith-oriented St. Camillus is. To be quite honest, I didn't even put two and two together regarding the name. Turns out that St. Camillus is a Catholic organization. I did not expect 3 masses a day or such a prominent pastoral care department. I did not expect a week-long celebration of the Feast of St. Camillus in the middle of July. And I didn't expect how much this would move me. Day after day, I was awestruck by the way each and every person I met had been propelled into their work by their faith. Every day, I saw the love and compassion in the hearts of every single staff member and resident there. And every day, it never failed to fill my heart just the same. I'll admit I was a little caught off guard at first. It's no secret that Unitarian Universalism has a complicated relationship with Christianity. This is not the least bit helped by people who, in the defiance of people like Janie Tinklenberg, preached a kind of in-name-only Christianity. Those who would take Jesus' message of love and use it to preach hate. Who would take his opposition to blind authority and use it as justification for oppression. Who would ride into battle under his banner and slaughter innocents. Those who Jesus would condemn for their love of money and self to the detriment of all others. It is no small secret that some Christians have, to put it bluntly, given Jesus a bad name. Is it any wonder, then, why people would want to distance themselves from anything having to do with such a cruel, hateful rhetoric and a legacy of conquest and bloodshed? There is value to be had in that distance, not the cynicism, that postmodern urge to poke as many holes in something as possible and marvel at all of the water seeping out, but in remembering that what made Jesus an icon was 2,000 years of human history. What made him an icon were the Camilluses, the Nightingales, the Marshalls. What made him an icon were those same people Janie's rallying cry invoked, those people who took his teachings and made a life out of them. Before them, Jesus was just a son of man. Before he was the figurehead of one of the most prominent and dominant religious and political forces in human history, he was just a person in a story. And so, what would Jesus do? Not the God, not the icon, the person. If you will bear with me, I would like to read from the book of Mark, chapter 9. I use the Revised New Standard Version in hopes of swaying those of you with an academic leaning, though I hope you will excuse me if I omit the annotations. This passage comes shortly before Jesus goes to Jerusalem, well after his name has spread in what is modern-day Israel-Palestine. It reads, John said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him, because he was not one of us." But Jesus said, "Do not stop him. For no one who does a deed of power in my name will be able soon afterwards to speak evil of me. For whoever is not against us is for us." Whoever is not against us is for us. The first time I read that verse, I had to stop and chew on it for a bit. I've heard the inverse countless times, as I'm sure all of you have as well. If you're not with me, then you're against me. So imagine my surprise then to find Jesus saying the exact opposite. That it doesn't matter if someone is one of us as long as they're doing the right thing. It doesn't matter if they're Christian or Muslim or Unitarian. What matters is that they're trying to help. I learned that lesson over and over again in my time at St. Camillus. I saw it in the eyes and the hands and the hearts of every person I met, and I heard it on every word they spoke. I saw the ministry of the nurses and the maintenance staff, the ministry of the chefs and the desk workers, the ministry that doesn't ask, "How can I pray for you?" but "How can I help you?" And each time, I was so grateful to be a part of that community. I cherished the opportunity to rejoice with those who rejoiced, to mourn with those who mourned, to come together and feel the moving spirits of every single one of them, to sing together, to pray together, to be together. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I will remember those moments for the rest of my life, because that divinity that exists in that space, whatever it is called, is not something easily forgotten. It has touched my soul. Each and every one of them, and each and every one of you, have left fingerprints on the very essence of my being. And years from now, I believe that I will be able to run my own fingers over the grooves and feel that same loving calling, hear the echoes of voices, and know what it is to have faith. Finally, I return to Janie and those little wristbands. It's easy to think of them as just a trend, a scrap of cloth characteristic of a specific time and place, a relic of a bygone era. But that's not what they were meant to be. Quite the opposite. They were meant to remind the wearer of those who came before, who lived their faith with truth and integrity. And they were meant to be a symbol to those who came after, that while their names may be forgotten, the impact they would have on the world wouldn't be. Whatever they became, those wristbands were meant to be a declaration of faith, an almost literal attempt to wear one's heart on their sleeve. And I have nothing but admiration in my heart for that goal. So as we extinguish the chalice today, I want you to remember Janie and her youth group. I want you to carry this flame with you like your own wristband, a mark of our faith and all that it means to you. I want you to see the world not as it is, but as it might be. That beloved community that we pursue, in spite of a world that may spit in our face and make a mockery of everything we hold dear. I want you to keep on fighting. I want you to burn with the passion of 1,000 flaming chalices. And I want you to ask, what will we do? Peace, and may it be so. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn this week, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. We will sing all 3 verses.
Just as long as I have breath,
I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. If someone hears me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love. Go in peace, go with passion, and go in faith, and never stop asking, what will we do?